Were you surprised you weren't fired?
I feel like I've been fired by America.
I bet you did. Yeah. That's probably worse.
Yeah, because it's hard because again, all I've wanted to do is help people love this brand.
Oh, Glenn, I've been fired by America. I don't know what was so funny, and I'm sure that was uncomfortable laughter from Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Fells Masino, the lady who seems to have more names than brain cells. I know that was probably uncomfortable laughter, but Uncle Casey is having a very hard time understanding what's so funny. In the last 6 months, Cracker Barrel has lost 50% of its value. If this were a television program, they would be off the air. I did some calculations earlier this morning. And I am no expert in business or the stock market, so I could be doing this wrong. I multiplied the number of Cracker Barrel shares by the dollar amount that they were worth 6 months ago before Julie Masino forced Uncle Herschel to embrace the woke wiener. According to my amateur calculations, Cracker Barrel has lost around $600 million in value in the last 6 months. 600 million. At the end of July, Cracker Barrel shares were valued around $60 a share. As of this afternoon, Julie Masino has that number down to a cool $28. Yet somehow, the lovely Julie still has her job as CEO. She was fired by America, but she hasn't been fired by shareholders or the board of directors. She is still driving this Bruce caboose directly into the supersized wiener. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. As you guys know, I've got young nephews. Oldest is 8, youngest nephew is 6. Like most young kids, especially boys, they deal with various skin ailments. Psoriasis, eczema, itchy, dry, red skin. Hell, I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to diagnose what the hell it is. I just know it's a nuisance they no longer have to deal with because my sister started using oat and honey soap from Sugar Mountain Trading. This soap is ideal for sensitive skin, offering a gentle yet effective solution for various dermatological issues. Its American-made origins guarantees the highest standards of production. Also comes available with CBD. So, if you're dealing with skin issues and pain at the same time, CBD version will take care of both. You'll be pain-free and smelling like fresh raspberries. Hell, that's literally the reason my wife uses it. She uses the standard CBD oil for pain, but she prefers the soap because she thinks it smells good. Like I said, oat and honey soap. It is available with or without CBD. So become pain-free while smelling fresh today by clicking the link in the description below. They have upped their discounts for the holidays. New discount code BTL35. Receive 35% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. You know, life is all about the decisions we make, whether it's your personal life or business. The situation you're in right now, it's based on decisions that you have made. A while back, I was having the dreaded drug and alcohol conversation with my daughter. She's 17 now, but at the time of the conversation, she was 16. She had just gotten her driver's license, and I was trying to make her understand how one bad decision can change the rest of your life. When you're 16, the combination of a car and a driver's license is a sign of freedom, but that freedom disguises the massive responsibility. We were having the usual talk about drinking and driving, the usual talk about drugs are just bad, okay? She was giving the usual teenage responses. I would never drink. I would never do drugs. I saw this WNBA player who was arrested and spent 6 months in Russia with Vlad Putin. Years of smoking the magic grass made her look like a man. Yeah, that's not exactly true, but whatever it takes to keep you off the substances is fine with me. But all kidding aside, I was trying to explain the difference between my generation and even past generations and what her generation is dealing with. When I was in high school, parents were worried about substance abuse, but their biggest fears were things like drinking and driving. Their biggest fear was addiction or prolonged drug use that eventually leads to accidental overdose, paying for rehab, paying for treatment, but at least you were alive. Nowadays, you can't trust anything on the streets. Some kid buys a few grams of weed and he's dead 5 minutes later because it was laced with fentanyl. I explained to her that you don't have the luxury, for lack of a better word, you don't have the luxury that we had to experiment. For your generation, it's not an experiment. You are literally playing Russian roulette. One bad decision, one decision made in a moment of peer pressure can change your life forever because there's a possibility it could end your life. To me, the woke fungus is kind of similar to substance abuse. Once you're infected with the woke fungus, it changes your mentality, changes your perception, changes your behavior. Once a business is infected with the woke fungus, it has a devastating effect on your bank account. The fungus is designed to seek and destroy. And we have so many examples of once dominant brands being decimated by the woke fungus. Nike, Bud Light, Target, the NBA. This is why it's so perplexing that Julie Masino hasn't been fired, because she had to know that embracing the disease of diversity would have a detrimental impact on Cracker Barrel. She had to know that embracing the woke fungus would destroy her business. But Julie Masino, she did it anyway. The question is why? Going into 2024, Cracker Barrel sales had declined by 26%. Julie Masino became CEO in the summer of 2023. When things are good, new leadership wants to make their mark. Anytime there is new leadership in a company, there's going to be changes. Oftentimes, it's change for the sake of change. But when things are bad, when sales are down 26%, new leadership comes in with all the answers. I can be your hero, baby. You guys know the story by now. Julie Masino listened to some diversity doofus. They redesigned the Cracker Barrel logo. They redesigned individual locations. They tried to diversify their customer base. They tried to be more inclusive. Translation, they quit catering to old retired people of all races and started marketing to demos that would never eat at Cracker Barrel. As a result, traffic at Cracker Barrel locations declined another 8%. One of the problems with this strategy, besides the fact that it's never a good idea for a business to embrace wiener, one of the problems with this strategy, Julie Masino was focusing on things that don't matter. She was focusing on aesthetics. She was focusing on decorations. Instead of being the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, Julie Masino was trying to be an interior designer, and she sucked at the job. I've never been a CEO. I've never worked extensively in a restaurant. When I was 18 years old, I worked at a local restaurant for 2, maybe 3 months. The owner was a drunk. We got into an argument one night, and I just never went back. But from my perspective, if Cracker Barrel wanted to solve their problem, instead of focusing on doofus decorations, I would have been focusing on the steaming turds they serve their customers that Cracker Barrel calls food. The food at Cracker Barrel sucks. I mean, it sucks. It's hard to destroy breakfast. Breakfast is one of the easiest meals to make, but somehow Cracker Barrel has found a way to destroy breakfast. The eggs are atrocious, the bacon is strips of uncooked fat, and the sausage looks like it came out of one of my dog's ass. To me, the solution is simple. Make better food, and people will actually pay to eat it. But in Cracker Barrel's defense, this might be easier said than done. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Matt Walsh did an interesting video on the ongoing decline of food in America. He was specifically talking about fast food and chain restaurants, places like, I don't know, Outback, Ruby Tuesday, or in this case, Cracker Barrel. If I remember correctly, most of these places are buying their ingredients from one of two places. I think it was Cisco and maybe US Food. Either way, most restaurants are buying their turds from the same source, which would explain why the quality of food has declined across the board. The chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A have turned into turd nuggets. I rarely eat fast food, mainly because it makes me sick every time I consume it. But the other day I was in a hurry and I went through the drive-thru at Wendy's. Now, years ago, Wendy's used to serve a decent hamburger. I paid $9 or $10 for this burger. No fries, no drink, just the burger. And I use the term burger loosely here because it looked like a bioengineered cow's ass. I took one bite. I threw the rest of it away. It was absolutely disgusting. The bread, or whatever they served that was pretending to be bread, the bread was cold. It looked like they scraped the bacon off of one of my tires. Basically, I paid $10 for barf in a bag. The point is, maybe Julie Masino was focusing on aesthetics because it's become so difficult to improve the quality of food. Maybe she was polishing the turd because it's become prohibitively expensive to serve decent meals. Maybe she was worried about pricing her core customers out of Cracker Barrel. I don't know. What I do know is the solution to the problem was not embracing the woke fungus. It has been almost 6 months now since Cracker Barrel announced their redesign. In this 24-hour news cycle that we live in, 6 months is an eternity. And the decline of Cracker Barrel, it is showing no sign of slowing down. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.